got a little update for you this week. I got the fence in on Friday. Today's Sunday. I try to do all my uploads on Sundays, but missed last Sunday. Anyway, so I got the fence put in on Friday. We did this in about, I think, 5 hours. So me and Chris and Sean built this. Oh, and my nephew. So it goes all the way back. Waiting on this front area here so I can close it off, and then we can take this temporary chain link down for the dogs. My neighbor is also getting their siding done, so this should be done tomorrow. So yeah, it's all coming together. Just took these guys out for about a 4-mile walk. Try to get them out as much as I can. But yep, so the garage door is done. And funny thing is, if you notice, it's kind of hard to see in this light, but that panel is discolored. It's just a different tone altogether. And the people that put it in there are super cool. They're like, look, it's not right, we're gonna fix it. So it's good to work with good people. But all the siding is done. I don't know, I think in the last video maybe it was done, but right now we're getting the soffit in and then doing the metal wrap on the fascia. So this should be done. The fascia should be done tomorrow. Got this side in on Friday as well. We got to come through and put some rivets up there. And once those rivets are in, we'll put a little caulking on there, paint it. And I'm gonna also be putting gutters up anyway, so it's not that big of a deal. Super nice door. I had to take out my attic door because this came back like 2 inches into where the attic door would go. And it's for the best, honestly, because when you went up the ladder that way, you kind of dead-ended into the soffit up there. So we're gonna move the door back to right here, so when you go up, you actually come up into the higher area where you can, stand up. And there's a lot of nails sticking out, obviously, because, the shingles, so it's better than getting a nail in your head. I went through today with my brother, and we got the outlet placement put in. This is gonna be a USB / 110. This will be a light switch I'm gonna have when I put the workbench in. It's gonna have LEDs on the bottom of the shelves above it, and then we're gonna have a deep freezer there. Right there is gonna be an auxiliary just for whatever. Haven't really thought of what I'm gonna do with that yet. Right here is for things like shop vacs and air compressors. It's just a good spot for it. Got this here, so when I come through with the sheetrock, I will have to undo this. This will be where my switches are for the outdoor lights. And so it's gonna be one switch for that one, and then one switch for these 3 right here. And then I'm going to be putting some cameras under the soffits for obvious reasons. But yeah, it's really coming along. And I'm gonna be doing another update once we get everything finished up. It'll be next Sunday, but throughout this week, I will be taking footage for you guys. And then we're on to the house. So, we got to just put this little bit of fence in here, close that little side off right there, and then start doing the siding on the house. I'm going to have it match the garage. This color is starting to grow on me, guys. It's a primer, but who's to say I can't get some paint that's very close to this. I'd like more of an olive tone, honestly, if I'm going to do this, but it looks pretty nice. Or like how the cedar shake, I could leave it sandy, do the side in a slightly darker color. Not sure yet. Hasn't really dawned on me yet. I do have, it's called Real-Time Landscape Pro. It's like a $100 program. There I am with my slobbish behavior again, throwing my trash bags out. But trash day is tomorrow, so just getting the house clean. Anyway, but I do have a landscape program where you can actually build and design houses as well. It's like $100. It's a Real-Time Landscape Pro. And that's how I designed all this. Still a work in progress, but so I can play around with actual colors and see what I like the most. And then you can actually take that SKU number with you to like Home Depot, and they can mix the paint for you. That's pretty cool. And if I wanted to match this color, I could just take a scrap piece of this siding and have them match it pretty good. This is kind of a aqua tan. It's just a primer color. I mean, obviously it'll look a lot more consistent with paint, but it's kind of cool looking. It's a different thing than blue, because that neighbor's blue. Oh, that's me. That neighbor's blue. That neighbor over there is blue. So might mix it up a little bit, guys. Anyway, as soon as I'm done with this garage, so I'm going to be doing the insulation and sheetrock right after the electrical. So within the next week, all this should be done. I'm going to have my diesel heater put in here. And then I'm going to start working on the truck. And I don't think I'm going to fit the bus in here. It's a little too tall. If you notice, the Bronco in this episode was actually gone. It's because it's gone. So I went to change the oxygen sensor out, and that turned into, 5-minute job turned into a 3-hour job. And what I realized happened was the socket that I purchased just for that oxygen sensor, I'll just grab one for reference, like how that is, stretched out because it was a cheap Chinese socket. And the only thing different between an oxygen sensor socket and one of these is it has a slot down the side. And typically I wouldn't use it, because if I'm changing it, I can cut the cord off. Not a big deal. But with this one, I was trying everything I could, because the oxygen sensor was about that far from the fender well. And there's really no way to get a good grip on the sensor itself. So I ended up rounding it off a bit. So I sent it out to the muffler shop down the road, and then while it's there, I told them do the rear drums. They were leaking. I just replaced all the brakes front. I did all new lines, and it's just sat for 7 years. So there's things you're going to have to do. What I noticed on the way there, though, is this really bad just jerking shudder, much like if you're driving a stick shift and you throw it in 4th gear at 20 miles an hour, it starts bucking. And I'm hoping that's not the torque converter, shitting out on me. Hopefully it's something simple like a U-joint. And then I noticed when you put it in reverse, it stalls out unless you keep your foot on the gas, which with Broncos from the 80s through the 90s, if that was the case, it started doing that. Usually there was a pickup line in the transmission that either would become clogged or it would fall off. I can't remember which one it was. And it was causing a pressure imbalance in the torque converter. Hopefully that's all it is. Hopefully it's not a whole new torque converter, project. But that's what happens when things sit. So, I took the project on knowing that it was going to have a lot of weird issues. Got it super cheap. I like working on things on my own. But if something sat for a long time and you want something immediately to be reliable, I wouldn't suggest it. I'd rather have a car from 2005 with 160,000 miles on it to be reliable than that same car from 2005 with 20,000 miles on it. Because when cars sit, they tend to fall apart a lot. Like a lot of things, seals go bad, U-joints, anything like that, it's going to go bad. So just keep that in mind.